Okay, you gotta hear this. Meta, a company that is betting its entire future on artificial intelligence, is firing hundreds of its top AI experts. Yeah, it's a move that, on the surface, makes absolutely no sense, but when you peel back the layers, it reveals this massive, high-stakes gamble that's happening right now in the heart of Silicon Valley. So, that leads us to the multi-trillion-dollar question, right? Why would a company this huge, this invested, fire the very people it needs to win the AI race? Is this some kind of brilliant 4D chess move we're not seeing? Or is it a sign that something is seriously wrong behind the scenes? Let's break it all down. All right, so first things first, the big shakeup. Let's get into the breaking news here. In a major internal memo, Meta just announced a huge reorganization of its AI division. And we're not talking about just any division. We're talking about the unit that's literally tasked with building the future of intelligence itself. And look, this wasn't just a small trim around the edges. We are talking about roughly 600 positions getting cut from its superintelligence labs unit. Now, you might think, 600, that's a drop in the bucket for a giant like Meta. And you'd be right. But it's who is being cut that makes this whole story so fascinating. See, these cuts aren't random at all. Meta is strategically pruning its branches. They're targeting the foundational research lab, FAIR, which is famous for its more open-ended academic-style research, along with various product and infrastructure teams. The real goal here isn't just to cut costs. It's to redirect all that energy toward a much more focused, singular goal. Think of it as a strategic realignment, not just simple downsizing. So what's the official story? I mean, what is Meta actually telling everyone? Well, their leadership has been pretty clear, or at least they're trying to be, about why they're making such a drastic-sounding move. Here's the rationale straight from Meta's chief AI officer, Alexander Wang. He said, by reducing the size of our team, fewer conversations will be required to make a decision, and each person will be more load-bearing and have more scope and impact. So the official line is all about speed, agility, and cutting through that corporate bureaucracy to move faster. And what exactly are they racing towards? Super intelligence. This is the big, audacious, science fiction-sounding goal. And we're not just talking about a slightly better chatbot here. We are talking about that theoretical point where an AI could match or, even blow past human capabilities in basically every complex task you can think of. It's a massive leap. And here's the new machine they've built to get there. The entire division is now split into 4 very distinct teams. You've got one team managing their big models, like Llama. Another is tasked with keeping that foundational research going within FAIR. A third is all about building AI products for you and me, the consumers. And the fourth is overseeing the insane infrastructure, all the data centers and chips needed to power this whole thing. It's their blueprint for a much leaner, meaner operation. Now, to really get why this is such a huge gamble, you have to understand the almost unimaginable scale of Meta's power and resources. I mean, it's just mind-boggling. Let's start with the money. Meta's market cap is a staggering $1.84 trillion. Trillion. They have the financial firepower to basically outspend anyone on the planet if they want to. And then they have the data. With nearly 4 billion people using their apps every single month, Meta is sitting on one of the largest and most valuable data sets in human history. And in the world of AI, data is the fuel. And this number right here is key. $60 to $65 billion. That's what they plan to spend on capital expenditures in 2025 alone. A massive chunk of that is going straight into AI infrastructure, building data centers, buying up all the GPUs they can get their hands on. This is an all-in bet, no question about it. And make no mistake, this is not a company in crisis. I mean, just look at these margins. Operating at 44%, net at almost 40%. They are printing money. The point is, these layoffs are not some desperate move to cut costs. This is a strategic choice, and it's being made from a position of incredible financial strength. But, of course, that's just one side of the coin. There's a whole other side to this story, a much more skeptical view that really starts to question whether streamlining is the whole truth. So you end up with these two competing narratives, right? On one hand, you have the official story. It's a strategic pivot to move faster and build superintelligence. But then there's the skeptical view, the one you hear bubbling up online and from industry insiders, which says this is just a convenient excuse for cutting costs, getting rid of expensive talent, and maybe, just maybe, covering up some internal chaos. And honestly, this timeline gives that skeptical view some real credibility. Even before these big cuts, Meta's AI division was seeing a talent drain. After a reorganization back in June, there were reports of at least 8 key figures just leaving. And get this, some really high-profile hires resigned within just a few months, saying things just weren't aligned. It really points to a pattern of instability.
This comment from a Reddit discussion pretty much captures the public mood perfectly. AI is a great excuse for CEOs looking to trim cost and cut jobs. Now that's a cynical take, for sure, but it reflects this widespread feeling that AI is becoming the go-to corporate justification for layoffs, whether it's the real reason or not.
And Mark Zuckerberg's own words in an internal memo just added fuel to that fire. He framed the layoffs as a way to, quote, raise the bar on performance management and move out low performers faster. That kind of language really shifts the story away from a strategic pivot and makes it sound more like a performance-based purge, which, you can imagine, doesn't do wonders for morale. So you put these two narratives side by side, the official story and the skeptical view. And you have to ask, what does this high-stakes gamble really mean? What's the big takeaway here? Okay, here's the bottom line. This is a massive gamble, plain and simple. It's incredibly high risk, but also potentially high reward. Meta is essentially trading its broad, established research culture for what it hopes will be a faster, more focused innovation engine. They are betting that a smaller, leaner team can outmaneuver competitors like OpenAI. But the risk? A huge talent exodus and potentially gutting the very foundational research that made them an AI leader in the first place. So why does any of this matter to the rest of us? Because this one single corporate decision perfectly captures the volatile and, frankly, often contradictory nature of the tech world right now. It shines a light on the immense pressure, the massive financial bets being made, and ultimately, the very real human cost of this race for AI dominance. And so, we're left with one big, lingering question. Is this a strategic masterstroke that's going to secure Meta's place as an AI leader for the next decade? Or is this the cautionary tale of corporate hubris, a sign that the race for superintelligence is becoming dangerously overheated? The answer won't just define Meta's future, it might just define ours.